me, sir.
All right, all right. All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Barrier Islands Governmental Council, affectionately known as the Big C meeting for July 29th, 2026, 9 a.m. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. If you've been to our meetings before, you know that roll call is self-service. So what we're going to do is start with me, and then we're going to proceed to my left. Eventually, we'll make it out into the crowd, and then we'll come back around here. So good morning, everyone. My name is Dave Gaddis. I'm the mayor of Bel Air Beach, and welcome to our beautiful city.
Good morning. My name is Lan Vaughn. I'm the mayor of Indian Rocks Beach, just south of Bel Air Beach.
Good morning, my name is Scott Tate, I'm the mayor of St. Pete Beach.
Good morning, my name is Mike Howard. I'm the vice mayor of Indian Shores.
Good morning, Kyle Riefler, City Manager of Bel Air Beach.
Good morning, Fire Chief of Pinellas Unclosed Fire Rescue.
Good morning, Kathy Thornsberry, City Clerk of Bel Air Beach.
Good morning, Amy Davis, Pinellas County Community Coordinator and Big C Liaison.
Good morning, Christine Hamaker with Sages Theater and the Golden Heart Awards.
Good morning, Ken Jenkins with SBC's Institute for Strategic Policy.
Good morning, Kingston James of Bellow.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Ballard. I'm with the St. Petersburg College Institute for Strategic Policy Solutions.
Good morning, Captain Dane Doherty, Indian Shores Police Department.
Chief Leanne Howard, Indian Shores Police Department. Kelly Law, Indian Rocks Beach Commissioner.
Christopher Hollins, Citizen Ambassador.
Trip Barnes, Fire Chief, City of Treasure Island.
Kathleen Peters, Commissioner of Pinellas County.
Karen Mario, St. Pete City Commissioner.
Good morning, Marshall Duffy from the South Corporation and representing
Good morning, Chris Shear, Pinellas County District 1.
Good morning, Mark Brown, President and founder of RGA.
Fred Irwin, St. Pete Civic Association.
Teresa White, TV Energy.
Randy Morris, trustee of your law.
Bill Lusk, President of Bel Air Beach.
Cora Williams, do things you like.
Good morning, Bobby Hines, Sages Theater Golden Heart Awards. You're going to want to know all about it, so find me.
Good morning, Amy Lockhart, Director of Finance, Town of Indian Shores. Colleen Cheney, Office of County Commissioner Ryan Scott.
Doug Body, Office of Commissioner Shear.
Adriana Leeds, Town Clerk, Town of Renton.
Teresa Narcos, Sea Turtle Trackers. Ashley Giovanetti, Pinellas County Communications.
Margaret Carey, Top Manager of Reddington Shores.
Doug Hart, Commissioner, Reddington Shores.
Good morning, Barry Rubin, Pinellas Beaches Chamber.
Good morning, CJ Hoyt, Vice Mayor, Reddington Shores.
Aaron Schutz, Mayor, Reddington Shores.
David Will, Mayor, Reddington Beach.
Bruce Rector, Mayor of the City of Clearwater.
Eddie McGeehan, I am filling in for Mayor Anne Marie Brooks in Deer Beach. I am the vice mayor there. And now I can officially take this off my bucket list.
All right. Now that we've got that out of the way, do we have any changes to the agenda? No? All right. I have one in front of item number 11. I would like to introduce Christine Hamaker, who will tell us about SAGES. And that will be right after the legislative update. Do I have a motion to approve as amended?
Motion to approve is amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All All right, the amended agenda is approved. Next up is approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve minutes.
All right. Second. And we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Minutes are approved. Do we have someone here to present the treasurer's report? No? All right. Do we have the treasurer's report?
We do not.
All right, well, we'll pick that up. We will pick that up next month. All right, any correspondence? None? All right, now we are right on to new business. First off is Carter Williams, manager of the lighting programs with Duke Energy. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. Appreciate everybody inviting me out this morning to talk about Duke Energy Lighting. This is my name, Carter Williams. I'm the manager of Duke Lighting for design for the coastal area. So my team covers all the way from the Panhandle down to Pinellas County. So if you request a new light or service to a light, that comes through my team. So I just wanted to share some topics with you all this morning. Next slide, please.
You're gonna have to click it yourself. Right?
Okay, so
Self-serving.
works for me. All right, so repairing your Duke streetlights. Just wanted to give kind of a PSA to everyone. You know, we repair streetlights constantly. We just ask you please use our website. It's called SAILOR, and that stands for Street and Area Light Repair. It's a fun acronym, right? So I'll send out these slides to everyone, but this link would take you to the website. You can also Google Duke Energy Streetlight Repair, and that'll come up. We aim to repair streetlights within 3 days. If there's bad underground, we'll have to replace that underground cable, and we'll keep you in the loop for our anticipated date to get the streetlights repaired. But in general, 3 days is our going rate for repairing those streetlights. All right, so fun topic here for all the beaches, the turtle-friendly amber lights. So currently, Duke Energy has 2,500 turtle-friendly amber lights across Florida. We use the wildlife-sensitive mapping to determine the areas that require these amber turtle lights. And our standard light outside of this wildlife area is 3,000 Kelvin. So you can see kind of on the map here that 3,000 Kelvin is what the majority of our lights are on our system. But these turtle-friendly amber lights are a lower Kelvin based on the wavelength, and it's not visible to turtles. So you can see briefly on the map here, there's a little red line that runs along the beaches, and that's our wildlife zone. And this is set by the FWC. So if you're within that area, the amber lights are the right solution for you for your turtle-friendly lights. If you're outside of the red area, it's really based on your own preference. We have areas where all the fingers of a beach are amber-friendly for the turtles, but it's only required within this threshold here. So there are fingers that extend out, and that's really based on your preference. We can do the 3,000 Kelvin, which is a lower cost, or we can go with the amber lights for those areas. Just some more information on the amber lights. It provides a narrow band for LED fixtures, certified by the FWC, as I spoke about earlier. This narrow band is about 590 nanometers, and that's recommended for the turtle nesting and emerging hatchlings. So I did provide a link here as well for if you would like to move forward with some wildlife-friendly lighting solutions. These are what we offer here. The majority of what you're going to see is this roadway style. A lot of beaches have that, but we also offer some more decorative options as well if you'd like to inquire about those. So those are our options for turtle-friendly lights. All right, next up, holiday receptacles. So I wanted to alert everyone that in 2025, our LS1 tariff changed. We are regulated, so all of our tariff changes go through Tallahassee, and we work with them for our new rates and any updates to our tariff. So based on that 2025 LS1 tariff, customer receptacles are no longer allowed. So essentially, if you're on Duke Energy system, it would be either Duke Energy owned or we would remove the receptacles. And really the idea is to keep everyone safe as well. We don't want people working on our system that aren't allowed or qualified to work on our system. So we're actively auditing all holiday receptacles in each town and city, and we're working with local municipalities to meet your holiday needs. So really the idea is that we meet with you all, understand what areas of town you'd like to have your holiday season lighting installed. And based on your feedback, we'll have them installed and add them to your bill. We're updating our GIS system for our mapping. We're updating our billing system so that everyone's on the same page as far as what you would like for your holiday needs. So to be completely honest with you all, in the past, our mapping and our billing system for these holiday receptacles has not been the best. So we put a lot of effort this year into making sure that we're all on the same page and giving you exactly what you like for the holiday season. So in mid-September, we'll send out further instructions to all cities on what to expect moving forward. And during that time, we ask that you please test your receptacles. And if you have any issues that need repair, we're happy to help. One more item, our receptacles have a GFCI, ground fault current circuit interrupter. And this protection is required by code. And receptacles will need to be reset if the breaker is tripped. All right, so this is one good thing that's coming out of this year's holiday season. So in the past, if you had receptacle repairs, there was a paper form that you would fill out, and you would give us the address, and we'd come out and fix your receptacles. But it's created confusion for both cities as well as us, because sometimes the information didn't match what was in the field. So moving forward, we'll have an online tool. It's already up and running, and it's within the same Sabler tool that I spoke about earlier. And you'll be able to request repairs via the online website. And you'll see in the bottom right corner, it says receptacle damage. So you just click that. It's a GPS location, so we're all on the same page, and there's no confusion about which receptacle needs repair. So we really think this will be a good product for both the cities and Duke moving forward. So with that, I guess I'll open up. Do we have any questions or any clarification that anyone needs for any of these topics? Yeah.
I have a question about the turtle lights.
Sure.
So it's sort of news that you regard to the turtle, and I know it's on the first slide. So how does that work for a beach community? Can you do it automatically, or does it have to be requested?
So I'll go back to the map here. So for turtle-friendly lights, we partner with the cities on installing these. We have LED upgrade programs where we go in and upgrade all the lights that you would like along the beaches to turtle-friendly. So it's really a partnership between us and the cities. And then also another note is that, as we know, Gulf Boulevard runs through most cities here, and that's a FDOT road. So there is a partnership with FDOT as well to meet their requirements for their roadways as well. So it's really a partnership between FDOT, ourselves, and the cities.
So if the city is interested, they would just reach out to you and work with the city?
Yeah, you can reach out to me and we'll start the process.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I believe that was my last slide as well, was on LED upgrades. So we just spoke about that. Yeah, you got a question?
This is also regarding the secure lighting. Is there eventually some cost savings that gets associated with the cities for moving over to these, or not really?
So actually, the turtle sensitive lights, the monthly billing charge is slightly higher than our standard product. This is just due to the energy usage. They use a higher amount of energy. So we have all our rates and tariffs listed online, but it does cost slightly more than our standard product. All right, so as far as LED upgrades, we're constantly upgrading older lights to new lights. So we have lots of high pressure sodium throughout the cities. We do offer LED upgrades that will likely lower your monthly bill. So the LED lights, as you may know, are more energy efficient. So typically most of our upgrades are free of charge. So we'll go in and look throughout your city and see which lights are eligible for this upgrade. We'll give you a 10-year contract that you would sign. And then starting then, your monthly bill would be reduced due to that lower energy usage for the LED lights. So we do have a website that has all of our product offerings. A lot of people like the dark sky compliant. You can barely see this tab here, but those are essentially a newer mandate by some cities to encourage the light to point down and not up in the air. So that's a popular offering that we have. We also have decorative fixtures, and then our most common is the roadways that light up the roads around town. So we do have quite a few options there. But would encourage you, if you're curious about an LED upgrade for your town, happy to talk with you and walk you through the process. Any more questions?
Any questions from the council? Sir? No? You do?
I have none.
No, you have none. All right. Well, I appreciate you being here, Mr. Williams, and I appreciate the informative presentation. I'm sure that many people will be contacting you about this.
Sure, sounds great. And I'll be around after the meeting if you want to talk. I'll be around. So good to meet you all, and thanks for inviting me out.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Now we are to the next item in new business, which is nominations for the Pinellas County Tourist Development Council. Most of you know of it as the TDC. Currently, I serve on the TDC to represent the Barrier Islands, and my term ends in November. So what I wanted to do was get ahead of this before my term ended, because whenever I came in on the TDC, there were tide votes and delays, and I think that we went for about 3 months without being represented on the TDC. So what I would like to do today is request nominations for to serve on the TDC. There can only be one, but generally the county prefers to have 3 nominees. And we submit, and then we let the county commission decide. What we prefer to do is we'll select our top candidate, second, and then third. And usually, other than rare cases, the county commission usually goes with our suggestion, our top candidate. So at this time, I'd like to open the floor for nominations. And sorry, Bruce, you're already there. So no one nominate Bruce, okay? He's already there for Clearwater.
I would be honored, frankly, to represent the Big C at the TDC, first myself.
All right, so we have.
Yes, I would nominate.
Okay, so we have a second. All in favor? Aye.
Yes.
All right, do we have a second nominee? Come on, we need 3 now.
Michael Howard?
Michael Howard, would you like to serve on the TDC? All right, now we have Michael Howard. I take that to motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, Michael, good luck. And do we have a third nominee?
Quick, can you serve again?
My term ends.
Will you use your term?
My term is.
Will.
Nominate John Bach.
John Doctor. You know what? I'm sure he'll appreciate that. Okay, so that's a motion for John Doctor. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay, Mayor Will seconds. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, so we've got the lineup. Now, we need to decide what order we would like to do this in. Scott Tate, Mayor Tate, has reached out to me, and he has expressed a very strong interest to serve on the TDC. I think that he would be a good candidate. I would like for someone to make a motion that he would be the first candidate.
I'll make a motion that he be the first candidate.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Okay, now it's between Mike Howard and John Doctor. Who should we pick for the second?
I'll make the motion, John Doctor.
John's gonna love
That's what you get for not coming, right?
All right, so we have a motion for John Doctor to be the second choice. Do I have a second? All right, second by Mayor Tate. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, so it's John Doctor, and we will submit this to, we'll actually send it over to David Eggers, Commissioner Eggers, and give him our recommendations, and then we'll let the county commission take it from there. All right, next up, we have a PSTA Board of Directors reappointment. Consideration of the reappointment of Karen Marriott for a 3-year term beginning October 1st, 2026 and ending September 30th, 2029. Karen is not here, correct?
She's here.
Oh,
She's
you
here.
are here. Okay, great. Would you like to address the council?
So thank you very much. I stepped in a few months ago on an interim basis. I'm happy to continue. It's a very interesting animal over there at PSTA, so it's an interesting learning. And if you're interested in having me continue, I'd be happy to do that. And I would encourage you all, as representative for the Big C on the PSTA, if any of the participating cities have anything that they talk to me about regarding PSTA or wishes or desires, just reach out to me and let me know. But if you'd like to have me continue, I'm happy.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Peters, do you have anything you'd like to add?
About PSTA?
No, about Karen.
That would be a loaded one. About, you mean legislative, you moving on?
Just about this particular nominee.
Oh, so I think, is it Commissioner? I didn't remember it was Commissioner. Commissioner Marriott, I know her personally, and not only is she an outstanding person, she is a true asset, I know, to the entire city and to PSTA. She's new on PSTA, but she is there at every meeting, and she's learning everything, and it's wonderful both of us could be here today, because normally PSTA meets on this Wednesday, so we can never come to this meeting, so today we're both here. But it's important because I think that the trolley that's going down Gulf Boulevard really keeps people off the road. That's the one route that is probably our highest utilized, well, some runners highest utilized, but that Gulf Boulevard route is very important. And if Amendment 3 passes, we're going to be making a lot of changes, and it's going to have, everybody's going to make a lot of changes, including PSTA, and Chris Shear is also on PSTA. So I think as this amendment, if it passes, I think we're going to have to not only focus on our cities and counties, but we're going to have to look at how transportation is going to be impacted and what does that mean to your beach communities and the visitors that come and the residents that use it. So I think Karen is the perfect person to represent. The two new people that were appointed to the board, don't remember her name, she's a beach community, right? Tarpon Springs, another outstanding addition to PSTA. So I feel like we got a really good solid board, and she's a great asset.
Great, thank you very much. All right, well, in that case, I will consider a motion for Karen Miller to be reappointed to the PSTA.
I'd like to make a motion to reappoint Karen to the PSTA.
All right.
Karen Marriott, to be clear, and I will wholeheartedly second that motion. For Karen Marriott.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Thank you so much for serving here. All right. Do we have any old business? Nope. All right. Any discussion items? Anything you'd like to get off your chest? Nope. All right. Now we'll just call Commissioner Peters back for the legislative update from the county.
So I'm going to give this to you guys. My printer ran out of ink, so this is all I got. But anyone that wants to share, we can leave a copy there. You can take a look at it. It's really the CBDG-DR funding that we've done, and I'll just give you a brief update of what it says. So as of all 5 People First programs are in full operation. As of July 1st, we have 1,772 eligible of the 1,299, well, eligible for money. We have 1,178 as of July 1st completed their damage assessment. 637 as of July 1st approved a grant application, and then 48 million has been spent
in awards as of July 1st. So we've given out $48 million to the residents that have suffered through the hurricanes. We still have plenty more awards to go. But the people that are receiving the checks, we have just a couple of them here. Our communications department is trying to do a good job at kind of getting the word out, giving people hope that there is hope and you can become whole again. And I just pray that we never have to go through that again for at least 3 or 4 or 5 decades would be wonderful. But, you know, and as I was driving here, you know, we just did the beach nourishment. And, you know, we've talked about beach nourishment for so long, I almost hate to bring it up. But we're this close to having it done, and Congresswoman Luna was a critical piece to getting this accomplished. And we still, it's not complete until she gets that in WRDA, and that should be this year. So she's done an outstanding job. I'm confident she'll get it in WRDA. We'll get it across the finish line. And forever in the future, we should not have this problem again. Because as you noticed, when we were anywhere from 6 to 8 feet below elevation of sand is why we had so much devastation. And had that 8 feet of sand been placed on that shoreline, I believe in my whole heart that the damage would have been significantly less. Still damage, but less. So we're going to keep cheering her on and make sure that gets done, but she's really done an outstanding job. The other thing I wanted to bring up were the boat ramps. And I don't know if your residents have complained because we don't have the boat ramps open, all of them. So the Veteran War Memorial boat ramp and the Fort DeSoto boat ramps. So we had to come up with a new, what the delay was, we had to come up with a new design that could weather these storms better. So we have the Veteran War ramp right now is closing this week. They're allowing the contractor to bring they're going to begin the site prep. They're bringing the dock components, which were fabricated off-site. They'll be unloaded next week, and the contractor is going to spend the next 2 weeks demoing those ramps and then putting in the new ramps. And Fort DeSoto, we're going to start in September. We believe the completion will be October, end of October, early November. So those boat ramps will be much more resilient. Hopefully we won't have as much damage if another storm comes in. But they'll be operational, all of them will be operational, those two at least, by early November. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up, which this never really gets brought up on the beaches, especially since I haven't been here. You all know, most of you that know me know that I've spent most of my career reforming the mental health and addiction system. And it's been a real privilege and an honor to accomplish the things that myself and my colleagues in the House of Representatives at the time and my colleagues on the County Commission, we've done amazing things and I'm very proud of it. We're moving that system out of the criminal justice system and into the healthcare system. So Pinellas County was awarded a lot of money for the opiate abatement lawsuit. So the pharmaceutical companies that made these drugs that were so dangerous, we were awarded a lot of money. I can't remember the total off the top of my head. But we have $33 million right now to give away. And so we are going to award right now, probably in a month or two, $25 million to Operation PAR and Evra Health. They're going to partner, and they have a facility on 54th, I believe it's 54th Avenue. And it's going to be a, I'm going to use the wrong word, but it's going to be like a walk-in clinic. So you can walk in. If you think you need mental health services or you need addiction services, you can just walk in. And you will get, I mean, we also have the Care About Me program, and I hope all our fire departments know about that, and I'm happy to meet with all of you. Anybody that needs to know about that, but you can walk in, you'll get an assessment, you'll get treatment, and you'll get your follow-up and case management, whatever you need. You just walk right into this clinic. Baycare has one in Pasco County. They projected that they would serve about 500 people, and they actually serve like 1,600. In that one facility. So this will be a huge asset for Pinellas County. I'm very excited about it because when you go in, Evra also does healthcare. So if you go in and you're suffering from mental illness, and this might be the first time you seek help, not only are they going to look at your mental illness, but they're going to look at your total health. So if you suffer from diabetes and you haven't been taking care of your diabetes, they're going to help you with your diabetes. So this is truly bringing the mental health system out of the criminal justice system and into healthcare, all in one place, one-stop shop. I'm very proud of it. They have to do renovations. It probably won't be open for 1 year, but once it is open, you'll all know, we'll make sure everybody knows. They'll start the remodel really, as soon as we sign that contract, they're gonna start doing the remodel on the building. And then we'll have this wonderful facility that anybody can walk into. And the Care About Me program, anybody at this point can just call, text, or go online and get a licensed mental health counselor who'll do an assessment and give you an appointment. And we have 250 appointments available every single day. We have more than 30 providers giving those appointments. So anybody, if a police officer goes to a home and they don't need a Bacon rack, but you know they need something, you could go online or call careaboutme.org, or call the number and they'll get an assessment and they'll get an appointment. So we don't have to wait until they get so critical that we have to Bacon rack them. So there is a solution for anybody in the community that needs help, and I'm really, really, really excited about it. So, any questions? I tried to be fast.
Will there be someone who would maybe come and do some training for law enforcement on that option and when that could be used for them?
So with the Care About Me, I'm certainly we'll get with Karen and we'll make sure. We use it in the schools now regularly. So we're seeing a significant decline in Bacon racks in the school. And so families can call, and it's any age, doesn't matter. We have providers that take care of seniors and children, and it's wonderful. So yes, and I will get your name, make sure Ashley gets your name, and we'll make sure that you get whatever you need. But for any department, I know Treasure Island has a whole team that does a lot, and this is a real easy tool that you can call, you can go online, you can text, you could do. It's all virtual, but you can get an in-person appointment and or virtual appointments. As I said, we have more than 30 providers and 250 appointments a day available to anybody in Pinellas County that needs them.
Quick question, just how are medical professionals learning about Care About Me? Because I know Area Agency on Aging has told us for seniors, but for the all ages that you're talking about.
So we hired a marketing department because we have not marketed this well at all. Case in point, some law enforcement officers don't know about it. So we hired a marketing department, paying them a lot of money, and we're hoping that they're going to get the word out better than we have done. And so hopefully it'll be widely known, and then once this this facility is open, we're going to have to do the same thing. I don't believe we allocated marketing dollars in this $25 million that we're going to award in September, so I may have to go to the team and ask them next year when it opens that we award marketing dollars so that people know that this, and anybody that is addicted to opiates. So if you know anyone that has to get their methadone every day, this is another dosing location. I had a brother who was a recovering heroin addict for 21 years, so he was clean for 21 years. I was very proud of him. But I still had to take him when he became incapacitated to a methadone clinic. And they were only open from 5:30 in the morning to 10:30 in the morning. And that is very difficult for somebody that has to go there every day and has to get transportation 5:30 to 10:30. This facility will be open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So nobody else in the country has a methadone dosing clinic open from 7 to 7. That's a huge difference for people to get access to the medication to make sure they stay sober, they can keep their job, keep their family whole because they have access to that medication. So that facility it's urgent care. Well, I couldn't get my brain. It's an urgent care facility that is opening up, so just like any other urgent care, you got the primary is mental health and addiction, but you also have health care within it. So I'm really proud of it. Anybody else?
Sir, where was it going to be located?
Oh, I don't have the exact address on the top of my head, but I believe it's either, I think it's 54th Avenue and like 66th Street, but I have to confirm that.
The marketing will start closer to next year then as it gets closer.
For the urgent care, yes, but the marketing on Care About Me is already started. Okay? Well, here, who thought mental health and addiction was a hot topic? Good.
So I would love to ask also, is there a way to help, I guess, educate these services, especially with the About Me? I know that you talked about working with a marketing group, but has there also been like work, or I guess like collaborations to work with like community services, to work with like education and future, I guess like maybe colleges that might have?
So I don't think we specifically targeted colleges, which we should, and shame on us. Thanks for bringing it up. And your organization could be be a great format for us to use. I've spoken to I used to be on your board actually years ago. So most people that suffer from mental illness, I'm not talking about mental health, I'm talking about mental illness, the signs and symptoms don't typically start until anywhere between age 14 and 25. So typically, the average age when schizophrenia or bipolar shows up is when kids are away at college. And it's problematic because we don't educate people on signs and symptoms. Our generations just haven't done it. And these kids don't know what's wrong, they just know they don't feel good. They typically end up self-medicating because they don't know, they're not aware. Now this generation, I will tell you, this younger generation in college and high school now, they're the reason there's change. They are the reason, they're the ones that have demanded no more school shootings, we're not going to live through this, we want change, we want access to care. And so they're more aware than any other population. But I think partnerships with colleges, if we haven't done it, we'll make sure we do because that's an important thing to be promoting on campus. So thank you, and I'd be happy to give you my card if you want to do any kind of formats with that or things like that, but I'm happy to get with Tanja at SPC and over at USF and do the same thing. Thanks. And Ecker College. I'm an alumni. They gotta take my call.
Exactly. Me too.
Is there anybody else? Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Peters for being here today. All right, next I'm going to call up a very good friend, also the City of Bel Air Beach's past city attorney, Randy Mora of Trask Danio LLP. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you for your service to your community. I've been invited to give you a legislative update. Commissioner Peters is sort of your walking tour guide through the legislative updates in this community. I'm Chuck Yeager zooming by at 30,000 feet to tell you some of the big picture stuff. So a little bit different. This legislative session was like no other, and that's not just hyperbole, it's true. It was like no other. There were 1,926 bills filed. Of those, 237 passed. Lawyer math, that's about 12.3%, down from just 13.5% last year. And that's kind of been a continuing trend in terms of the output of the legislature. For what I believe is certainly the first time, we have 3 special sessions. For those unfamiliar with the legislative process in Florida, the legislators are not in session all year. They have a specific defined time. It's usually from some point in January until early March. It was supposed to end the first week of March, and it kind of ended. And then they did it again with a special session. And then they did it again with a special session. And then they did it again with a special session. And so I was actually originally invited to come in April and tell you how the session that ended in March ended. And I said, well, I'm not sure we're there yet. There was a special session for redistricting, a special session for the state budget. There was what I would call a 3-comma chasm between what the House and the Senate were proposing, and they have to reconcile that. And then finally, there was a special session on, and I don't know anybody's heard about this yet, a property tax initiative. So before I get to that, I want to start on what didn't happen. There's a lot of focus on what did happen, but I do want to highlight 2 things that didn't happen in the way of governor vetoes. There was one bill that a lot of us, especially myself as somebody who litigates on behalf of local jurisdiction, there was a proposal to increase the sovereign immunity caps. When someone sues a municipality or a county, any governmental entity, we enjoy sovereign immunity. There's a limit to how much exposure we have for tort claims, not every kind of claim. Constitutional claims, property claims are something different. But for tort claims, there's usually a limit of $200,000 per person and $300,000 per event. And that helps us manage our risk and also our insurance and the reinsurance market and all those things that flow from that. There was a proposal this term to increase those numbers to $350,000 and $500,000, which is not huge, but it would have been a very big difference from past things. The last time that was changed was around 2013, 2012. They went from 100 to 200. There was a proposal last term to go up to like $1 million. So this was seen as a measured approach to try and move that needle. It did pass the legislature, but was vetoed by the governor. So that change did not take effect. We are still at the $200,000 and $300,000 numbers. The second bill that was that had a lot of interest statewide, and especially in some of our beach communities, was a micro-mobility bill that was regulating e-bikes and e-scooters and allowing you to place maximum speed limits around pedestrian areas, and also calling for a study and a task force to study the issue and articulate new standards. Ultimately, that passed but was vetoed by the governor. So those are two, I would say, notable governor vetoes. If you're looking for not just, sometimes it's important to know what didn't happen, not just what happened. So with that, I'm going to pivot to what did happen. In our final special session, we got the notable bill, the CSHJR, that's House Joint Resolution 1F, now known affectionately as Amendment 3, and that is the property tax amendment. I think that the discourse around this is compelling, it is interesting, it is going to be, one way or the other, a sea change in how local governments operate, whether that's a doubling down and commitment by the electorate to where we are, or otherwise. There are a few things of note as to this. First, there was the discourse around the governor's proposal, and then what passed, and those are not the same thing. And the discourse around the governor's proposal was very, very wide and popularized, so people have an idea of what the tax amendment means, but it's not necessarily in alignment with what's being proposed to the voters. For example, the language that the governor articulated and proposed had a very specific carve-out for first responders, law enforcement, etc. That is not in the House proposal, and the one that's being put to the voters. So it's important to do your research, be aware of these things and the discourse around them. So let's talk about what is in there. If passed by the voters in November, and I'll speak on that in a moment, beginning January 1, 2027, in municipal time, that's like in 2 weeks. But beginning in January 1, 2027, the exemption for counties and municipalities would increase from $50,000 to $150,000 for residential homesteaded properties. Then beginning in 2028, January 1, that would go up from $150,000 to $250,000. The school districts remain unchanged, which is notable because it's the largest part typically of your ad valorem stuff. The school district homestead exemption remains unchanged at $25K. This is specific to the counties and municipalities side of things. Then, beginning in January 1, 2029, that $250,000 would be adjusted annually for the Consumer Price Index, adjusted annually by CPI. There would be provision for that to take place. And also, in order to get this homestead exemption, there would be separate eligibility requirements, meaning you would have to establish that you were homesteaded for 5 years, which creates a sort of division among our residents and property owners. It's not enough to have been a Floridian for 5 years, you have to have had your property for 5 years. So our young people, first-time homeowners, it puts them in a different category. For some of you along the beaches, you've been a part of this discourse. I was city attorney in Indian Rocks Beach for several years. We tried to implement a parking program around the decals you get to park at places. And we tried to create a distinction at one point between residents and property owners. Our homesteaded residents and those who have a second property here, and it became very divisive. People saying, hey, I own property here, I pay my taxes more than homesteaded people, and you're telling me I can't park, right down the street at the access? That's nuts. And there was an equal protection discourse around that, and we're having that as well in the courts, which I'll speak to in a moment. This will be, if approved, it'll be on the November ballot. And I say if approved, and I keep saying I'll speak to that, because there is litigation challenging this ballot measure. It is not inconsequential. There was a property tax proposal that was stricken from the ballot in 2007 based on not a similar challenge based substantively, but a challenge to a property tax proposal. There is a challenge that is being heard today, maybe even right now, not quite this early, I don't think, but there is a hearing today in Leon County before a judge where a group of elected officials, former officials, are challenging this homestead exemption proposal, not because they disagree with it, which is an easy place to retreat to when you say, oh, well, these just people want to line their pockets. It's not that. It's a challenge to the process. One of the challenges is to the ballot language. There are restrictions when you develop ballot language. If any of you have done them here, you know there's like 70 words, and they can't be incendiary and include political rhetoric and these sorts of things. And one of the arguments is, well, this does have political rhetoric. It's protect our homes from wasteful spending. And one of the arguments is this is designed to persuade and argue, not inform and allow the electorate to vote, is one of the arguments. Another argument is the equal protection argument about how it's treating different Floridians, or similarly situated Floridians, differently, and whether the court can justify that. So the ballot language, the equal protection language, whether it's misleading, the ballot language in summary includes language stating that it will eliminate property taxes. That is not in the proposal. That was part of the governor's proposal, is let's ratchet up and ultimately eliminate it. And while the proposal allows for the legislature out beyond 28 to consider means to continue to increase that homestead exemption and eliminate, it is not an automatic elimination. And so if the voters go to ballot and say, hey, I'm voting on this because I want to get rid of property taxes, it will certainly impact and substantially reduce, but it does not necessarily, by its own language, operate to eliminate. So those are some of the challenges. I do not know how the court will resolve them. I am not opining on them. I'm just letting you know that's out there. That hearing's happening today. It's prioritized because the vote is in November. Regardless of how you vote, make sure you know what you're voting for, and that's what's out there. I say make sure you know what you're voting for. If you have not already, if you are working as a commissioner, council member, or staff in one of our local municipalities, I know we have members of the business community and residents here as well, please make sure you talk to your city, town, or village attorney or county attorney about anything that you attempt to do to inform the electorate. About 3 years ago now, the legislature passed an amendment to what used to be called the electioneering statute. It's Florida Statute 106113, and it prevents local governments and governmental entities from using public funds to send out information that is designed to comment on matters that are being submitted to the electorate. So you can't, as a city, send out vote no on 3 because insert reason here. It used to be, for those of you who have been Floridians for a long time, the standards around this were that you could disseminate factual information, factual, non-argumentative information. And that was the standard. That standard has been changed. You cannot send designed to inform if it's still having a vote no because here is a fact. You can leave it at the facts and neutral, but again, the sending part becomes an issue. So just have some knowledge, work with your city, town, village attorney. If you're thinking about doing anything, whether you're posting it on your website, linking to other content, it's, you know, and the dichotomy here, the difference in how that messaging works is it's very different to say, if reduced by 25%, our current budget would have to go from $2.9 to $2.1 million. That's a factual statement, and then people can decide whether that's what they want. But saying, if you vote for this, your community will never look the way you've come to love it, know it to be. That's the kind of thing that's going to be a problem in terms of the messaging. So that's how, that is what I will say about the House Joint Resolution. Obviously, legal challenges. You've got the issue of how it would roll out. And it's not happening in a vacuum. That's part of what's happening to us in terms of what's been regulated this term. We also have CS Senate Bill 4F, which changes the voting requirements for when we vote on our budgets. You are in budget season right now. If you didn't know that, surprise, you're going to have a bunch of meetings that you never knew about. They're all going to be on different days than you're used to. So our firm, by the way, incidentally represents a little more than a dozen communities, and there's only so many places we can be on a Tuesday at 6, and budget season is really interesting that way. But the Senate bill that I was referencing says that if you need a simple majority, 3 votes, to increase the rollback rate. And it used to be, unless you went to a certain threshold, you needed a supermajority. You could do a majority to just raise it a little bit, but if you got to a certain threshold, you needed a supermajority. Generally speaking, you're needing a supermajority for pretty much every increase. That's now reflected on the DR 420, which is the revenue form that your staff fills out. So they've already updated the form that takes effect right now. Many of you have already set your proposed maximum millage rate, and then you'll get to your tentative and final in August and September. But understand, no matter what range you've established, if you're going up, you're going to need some solidarity up there on the base. And just be mindful of that. And that's an important discourse because some communities are trying to anticipate, well, if we're about to lose some, should we go up some? And all these things have to be contextualized. Similarly, when we talk about budgeting and financial changes. We have House Bill 1329. This is a very, very important bill as it relates to your budgeting and your financial output. You do not have to do it this time, but this bill will take effect in January of 27. And one of the changes that will change, if you're not enjoying the fun exercise of passing your budget yet, have I got some news for you. You have a team building exercise now. Every year, as part of your budgeting process, you have to do an exercise where you determine what it would look like if you reduced your budget by 10%. You don't have to reduce your budget by 10%, you don't have to act on it, but it's forcing you to engage in the intellectual exercise, substantively, of looking at how that would be implemented. Okay, so we're not going to do trust falls or anything, but there's going to be a little more time spent in our budget workshops. The other parts of that, beyond the budget exercise, is some disclosure requirements that are new and different. I've been a city attorney or municipal attorney now for 12 or 13 years. Oftentimes in April, May, and June, about April, May, I get some special email that says, here's our budget calendar. Here's when we're going to meet, here's when we're going to do stuff. No longer. Effective January 1, 2027, you have to have your budget calendar published on or before January 30th. So by January 30th, you have to know when you're going to meet, at least tentatively, and publish those dates. Another interesting thing that you'll have to do, in addition to publishing your budget calendar, on a quarterly basis, your staff is going to have to, I say your staff, some of you don't have staff, you have the 5 of you, plus one person who does everything else you ask them to. But your city, town, or village will have to prepare and publish a quarterly summary of the compensation for all your employees. It's going to have to include their job title, their name, and their salary. And this has to be published on your website in PDF format or otherwise. Why PDF format, Randy? We have all this as public record. You're right, it's all public record. But in a Doge universe, where we are now training ones and zeros to go to websites and pull information, what they realized as part of this process was they were having to ask for data from 411 cities and 67 counties. Nobody wants to do all that. Our interns aren't that reliable. We can send a bot to crawl your website as long as we make you publish it on your website. So, and in a format that we know that our crawler can do, and then it'll be much easier for us to crawl and know what you're doing and what you're, or at least our impression of, our supervisory impression of what it is you are doing and not doing, right? So that is another thing that is changing, your salary for everybody. So that thing where you're like, well, it feels a little uncomfortable to talk about this in public, it's going to be on the website. And it's going to be, it's already part of your budget that's supposed to be published in October. Now they want you to do quarterly updates. So that as people get raises and people come and go, we have real-time knowledge every 3 months of what every one of these jurisdictions is doing. Additionally, let me see, I think that's all the fun stuff from this one. Oh, no, wait, one more. Your tentative, adopted, and final budget will have to be on your website. For years now, you had to have your final budget on your website. Now you have to have the successive iterations of the budget on your website as well. So that's some compliance requirements, reporting requirements, if you will. You're not submitting it necessarily to an agency, but trust and know that by publishing it, you're submitting it to review. And if not just public scrutiny, agency scrutiny. Also, confoundingly, and Commissioner Peters can speak to this time in the legislature, we have a single subject rule in legislation, generally speaking. We like to play a little loose with that. This bill that addresses budgets also has regulations specific to impact fees. Completely unrelated, I mean, it's related to budgets, but it's not grounded in these things. And what it does is it addresses impact fees and the substantive and procedural constraints on how you calculate them, justify them, and increase them. So if any of your communities, and this is important again, in a landscape where we're looking at ad valorem rates, which historically for most Florida communities has been your principal source of income, a lot of communities are saying, well, what are our other sources of income? And what services are we not capturing revenue for that the law allows us to? And one of those for some communities has been impact fees that haven't been revisited in 10, 15 years, or at least not since the recession, which by the way is 10, 15 years. So that's another change that comes from House Bill 1329. Another thing on the finance side, because the hits keep coming, especially important in our smaller beach communities and especially our rural communities. But a small thing, but important, in effective January 1, 2027, you must have a way to accept and process digital payments. So if you're requiring payment from your residents for things, you have to have a digital interface by January 1, 2027. On balance, not that revolutionary, but for some of our communities, they're like, well, we've never done that. How would we do that? How would we do that fast? Just something else to be mindful of. And again, as you look at your resources, you say, okay, I'm going to have to pay a new vendor, right? That's one more thing that I'm doing in this time of transition as I look for stretching the dollar to serve the public trust. I'm going to pivot from the financial stuff, but I think the financial stuff is, hey, you follow the money, you follow the dollars, right? That's where the power is. Of particular interest, especially as we stand here looking at our intercoastal, House Bill 1103, very important to our beach communities and marine communities. It authorizes a municipality to authorize by ordinance a code enforcement officer to identify, notice, and take corrective action, non-criminal corrective action relating to public nuisance vessels. Those are those vessels that we see abandoned or deteriorating in our waterways. In order to do that, your ordinance must be reviewed and approved by FWC. So it's not just like in 2 months you can start deputizing your people. You have to have FWC review and approval of that ordinance. That's Florida Fish and Wildlife, for those new to the game. It is a non-criminal infraction. The challenge will be for many communities, okay, you've done it, but what are you going to do about it? What resources and means do you have? Because it's one thing to pass an ordinance and say this vessel's derelict, but some poor schmuck is going to have to stand in a hearing room with an officer and prove up that case. And that's where that challenge becomes. It's not enough to just say, hey, you can see it there, and here's a picture of it 30 days apart. You have to be able to speak to the condition of it, its navigability, what waterway channel it may be in, etc. So just some considerations. Yes?
Let me add to that. So the sheriff reinterpreted a lot of the laws, and he can and does have the authority to do the citations that we need and get vessels removed much quicker. So it's no longer that year long after another year process. He can have them removed 30, 60, 90 days, he can have them removed. So I don't know how much that impedes what the sheriff's process is, but that hopefully doesn't impede it.
It doesn't, I appreciate it,
Fish and Wildlife was shocked at how much it's costing them to reimburse the sheriff on that. I think this is how they're trying to rein in the cost of Fish and Wildlife is saying that the sheriff has the authority to do this. And so don't let those boats sit. Don't let them sit, because he can get them out and there is a process. So I hope that isn't inhibiting his authority at all.
As written, I don't anticipate that it inhibits it. If anything, it's intended to supplement it because of the disproportionate burden that you're sort of alluding to financially for the sheriff. And also, it may, depending on how you're approaching any single incident, allow for the creation of a record, right? Here's this community trying to address it through voluntary compliance and citations and notifications. That's not moving the needle. Now that might be a threshold. And this was born largely out of Dade and Broward, but to a lesser extent and similarly, Pinellas County.
All laws come out of Dade and Broward.
She's not wrong about that. There's about 4 this session that are specifically written. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because there is a challenge in a state as vast as ours. You've got Leon County, Tallahassee people saying, what are they doing down there? It's a whole other universe. Population intensity, resource intensity, and it's hard to, in a state as broad as ours, create a consensus on that's what we want my state to look like, because that looks nothing like my state, right? So it is an interesting challenge. I want to pivot to land use, and I promise I'll wrap up soon. I want to pivot to land use. There are some important land use bills. I'm not going to get granular with it, but House Bill 399 is an important bill that your building department, building officials, and teams should be looking at. Your fees for permitting must be published on a fee schedule and cannot be based on a percentage of construction costs, site the cost, or project valuation. For some communities, this is a sea change. It's usually been about the scope of the project. For many communities, you have to specifically identify each area of incompatibility on the legislative side or quasi-judicial side before denying on compatibility grounds. What they were finding was a lot of developments, especially rezonings and things would come up, And one of the criteria is always compatibility. And they say, well, they just say it's not compatible if they don't like it. That doesn't really mean anything. It's a term of art that, while it might be in some codes, it's not consistent across the state. And so if you're going to deny a rezoning, redevelopment, or something on the grounds of compatibility, you have to specifically identify how it is not compatible with the comp plan or other elements. Also important, especially in Pinellas County, as we have so much redevelopment, prefabricated homes must be permitted by right in any zoning district where a single family home is allowed and cannot be treated differently or more restricted. So those off-site prefab homes have to be allowed now in your single family home district. Whether you like that aesthetically or it's consistent with your construction styles, they're trying to make it as easy as possible, especially as the constant discourse around housing crises, affordability crises, as a way to get more housing in our single family residential districts. And then the other land use bill that is very, very important for our building officials and building departments is private providers. What I'm talking about when I talk about a private provider, I'm not talking about building officials who do a function like my law firm where we contract and serve and we privately fulfill that function. I'm talking about people who inspect instead of your building official from the private sector. There's an entire statutory scheme for that. And the private provider is House Bill 803. It requires you to establish a registration system for private providers consistent with your online payment system. That registration system has to be electronic, or at least have an electronic means. You cannot require a fee for registration. So you're going to have to build the registry. You can't charge people, hey, it's $15 to register. It helps capture some of our operating, not a thing. You cannot prohibit or discourage the use of private providers in your community for building, Florida Building Code permitting. The fees have to be reduced where a private provider is used, and there's stated maximum or minimum reductions that have to be in place. And there is an exception, I'm going to name it, but it doesn't really apply for our Big C members. You're not allowed to require building permits for work that costs less than $7,500. So like I live up in Palm Harbor, if I put up a fence and I do it for less than that, they can't make me use a permit for that. There is, however, a carve out unless you are in a flood hazard area, which I think we all know what we're saying. So that permitting threshold is not applicable here. One thing that you're going to see in the discourse around the private provider change, and I think that's going to inform people a little bit on how they structure their permitting processes, private providers are for permitting under the Florida Building Code. That's not the same as floodplain permitting, right? You have a floodplain administrator. That's not the same as zoning and planning and zoning permitting. Most communities, to make things easy, have done them all, treated them all as one permit. Your building permit covers your permit, covers your zoning and your floodplain. We might start seeing communities break this out to say, fine, you've created this one vector where the private sector does it, but we still have control of these others. Because you are required under certain timelines to approve private provider permit applications, provided they comply with floodplain and other requirements. And so it's going to be hard to kind of stave one off without making the distinction. Finally, just some fun little last bills that you may wish to look into depending on your interest. House Bill 1217 is a new preemption on any net zero efforts. Some communities in Florida have gone towards gas emission offsets and things like that. You're now preempted from net zero efforts and endeavors that are designed and funded for net zero endeavors. Senate Bill 290 preempts local governments from restricting the use of gas-powered small engine equipment. This was an outgrowth of South Florida, where in many communities they were restricting or prohibiting during certain hours, days, or altogether the use of fuel jetpacks. Part of it was, not jetpacks, sorry, leaf blowers, weed whackers, etc. Because one, the noise, two, the emission. A lot of residents were complaining. I'm hearing this from 8 to 5 p.m. with all the different lawn care companies, and it smells terrible at my pool. You can't regulate that anymore. And then finally, my last fun one. When I was city attorney in Indian Rocks Beach, I dealt with this issue once, but it expands a prohibition or preemption. You cannot prohibit any member of the Miccosukee or Seminole tribe from constructing a chickee in the side yard of a property if it is at least 10 feet from the side setback in other structures. And they already had a preemption where their permit fees and things were waived Obviously, you should have some procedure for verifying that they are in fact a member of the tribe and not just some dude, but something to consider. That's just a fun one. There's plenty more to talk about, a lot more granular I can do. I appreciate your time. Again, please talk to your own village, city, town, county attorney, whomever, to make sure your community is adapting. My one message often when I lecture and teach is we cannot reject reality, we can't adapt to it, so do your best to adapt in the ways that your community needs to. Thank you for your time. Do you need to answer any questions or anything today? I want to...
Everyone good?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Always a pleasure. All right, next up we have Christine Hammaker with Sages. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, I have to say, I love the we have to adjust. So Sages exists because we all have to adjust to aging. So Sages Theater does plays with purpose on different topics of aging and safety. We incorporate with our first responders and our community leaders to get these messages across in a fun and entertaining way, but also in a very empowering way for the community. As part of empowering our older adults, which Pinellas County has one of the highest populations of older adults, so they are supporting our communities with their efforts, whether or not we, I'm 58, so whether over 50 we are in a nonprofit role, whether we are in a public role, or whether we are a volunteer or an employee somewhere. So what we have created is the Golden Heart Awards. Ta-da. And so what we want to do, this is our 4th year, is recognize people in 7 different categories, and I heard several in the room that would be great candidates, but you also know other candidates, to be recognized for a Golden Heart. And this is an event that takes place in August, so thank you very much for letting me come in and speak about it today, because our nominations, we've extended it a week, mainly because the Barrier Islands aren't represented this year. And I know there are plenty of people that are out here over the age 50, up to 100, doing beach cleanups, doing neighborhood watches, helping their neighbors every day. Someone that you think of that could be recognized right alongside a public leader. It shows that all of the people involved, we're all part of this community, and Golden Hearts are what are going to drive it. And so I would love for you all to make some nominations. I put flyers in the back. I will recognize Barry Rubin was nominated last year, so I'm really glad that he told me about this meeting so I could come and say that. And so that was your representation last year. So there are opportunities for you to show your residents that you value what they're doing in a public way at this Tampa Bay countywide event. It takes place in Pinellas Park, and it's on August 20th, and like I said, the deadline is August 5th. So please take one with you and consider making a nomination. Thank you.
All right. All right, now we move on to city events. We'll start right over here with Mike Howard.
Town of Indian Shores is quiet right now. We survived the 4th of July. The chief of police and her assistant had to leave. But they, 3 and 4 years ago, if people remember, Reddington Shores can attest to this as well. Indian Shores and Reddington Shores were kind of like a magnet for some local kids from the Hillsborough County area coming in and destinations further east, as well as some local kids coming down and getting into some mischief behavior on the beach. Well, this year was one of the quietest ones we had with because of a plan that was instituted to incorporate the HOAs and COAs, not just the towns getting together and say, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to have the cops out there, but the COAs, and we don't really have the HOA, but the COAs mainly on the beach, all got together for a meeting and came up with a comprehensive plan, and they worked together, hiring their own security firms, coordinating through the police department, and Mayor Shoes can address this as well, but it was probably one of the more quieter 4th of Julys, at least in our area of the beach, than it had been in many years. Thank you.
All right, Mayor Tate.
Thank you. In St. Pete Beach, we had a very robust 4th of July. We enjoyed it. Had good fireworks and a good event. Going forwards, we always have fun things going on in St. Pete Beach. Every weekend, I'll remind everybody that we do have a Sunday market down on Coy Avenue. It's a great opportunity for you to meet some of our local vendors and pick up some great items in those areas. So that's what we always get going on. More coming in the fall. Thank you.
Indian Rocks Beach, we have had a lot happening. Our hurricane task force that we put into effect, they actually finalized their meeting. They're going to be reporting to the city of Indian Rocks Beach. This is the first. Their focus is on future hurricane relief, as well as taking a step back and looking at our citizens that are still struggling with the hurricanes. With that, we came out with everybody is very familiar with the substantially damaged letters that went out. Pinellas County actually provided us with a number. We have 118 that are still out there that have not had any permits. The city is going to be effectively sending letters and asking what we can do to help them navigate through this process. So again, serving the citizens. We're going to be kicking off our Citizen Advisory Board. This is a new initiative as mayor, and they are going to be discussing what they think and one of their views of the city moving forward. This upcoming city commission meeting, we are actually going to have our first reading on a smoke-free beach. There is going to be no smoking in Indian Rocks Beach. And I do want to kind of roll back and talk about our Beach Arts Center. We are the only beach arts center on the beaches. Everyone is welcome, and we love to have your community merge with ours, and let's become a total beach community as well.
Right. And in Bel Air Beach, as soon as everyone clears out, it will be quiet again. We really don't have anything going on this month. Our city council meeting is next Monday. So if you would like some entertainment, please come on by and check it out.
Well, we have a few items and coming up here in Madeira Beach. First of all, we have Burger Week coming up. That starts August the 21st. And we have 18 different restaurants in Madeira Beach that is participating in this event, and it ends August the 30th. So between the 21st and the 30th, come on down and eat 18 burgers. And you might win a grill. Grill your own burgers. Monte Carlo night, my great friend Barry Rubin, he asked me to let everyone know that August the 22nd from 6 to 10, come and spend your money down in Treasure Island. They will be having the Monte Carlo. It's always a great event. And,
thank you, Vice Mayor.
You're doing a great job with that. It's amazing. And also, real quick, one other thing. Our the Trash Pirates of Madeira Beach. They're an awesome group. They meet at August the 1st. And it's a volunteer service where you come and help clean up our beaches. And that is a great way to meet people, and I think that you would enjoy that also. Yes. So thank you very much for having me today. Anne Marie will be back next time.
So on Clearwater Beach, the next big activity is September 25th through the 27th. We'll have our annual Offshore Nationals boat races. We get some of the best powerboat racing in the world out there. So I look forward to seeing everyone come out in September to see that.
In Reddington Beach, we do not have any events scheduled for August, but our park board is working on several different events for the fall.
Reddington Shores also does not have any upcoming events soon. But I did want to echo Vice Mayor Howard's words of thanks to the Indian Shores Police Department, who are actually here, so we get to thank them in person for all their work going into the 4th of July holiday weekend. So, thank you.
All right, and I would like to thank the Bel Air Beach city staff, City Manager Riefler, and City Clerk Kathy Thornsberry for putting this together, and I'm sure that other staff helped participate. I'd also like to thank Bel Air Coffee Company for providing breakfast. If we have no other business, then I will say this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for being here.